The first reviews for Zootopia 2 are here, so let's see what the critics are saying about the best and worst parts of the movie. Now, before we get into a bunch of individual reviews, the movie does have a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes as of right now, with 52 reviews, which is slightly lower than the insane 98% that the first movie has, but obviously still a very strong score. And in case you're unaware of how Rotten Tomatoes actually works, the 94% is not a rating on its own. It just means out of the 52 reviews, 94% of them gave it a positive score. So that could mean it was a 6 out of 10, a 7, an 8, 9, 10, any of those numbers. Now let's get into the individual reviews from different critics. Peter from The Guardian gave it one of the rare negative reviews, giving the movie a 2 out of 5 score and saying it's the kind of movie you put on an iPad to keep the children quiet on a long plane or train journey. Nothing wrong with that, of course, but the heart and soul are lacking. But the negative reviews, like I mentioned, are in the minority for this movie. BJ from Slash Film says Zootopia 2 is the rare example of a follow-up film that can live up to the high bar set by the first movie, an all-time great sequel for the House of the Mouse, and one of the best buddy cop movies in years, which is obviously great to hear because obviously the buddy cop nature of the first film is what made it such a standout. The dynamic between these two is great, so it's great to see that Disney is doubling down on this for the next movie. Alistair Ryder from Looper gave the movie a 7 out of 10 and said it's not perfect, but even the parents dragged along by their kids will be happy to see a third movie, and by modern Disney standards, this is nothing short of miraculous. Which I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of sad that we've come to this point that so many people go into a Disney sequel and they're like, oh no, what am I gonna see, just because Disney movies in the last few years have not been hitting at that level they used to be. But it's good to see that with movies like this and Pixar's films like Inside Out 2 that they seem to be getting back on track. We do have another negative review from the Seattle Times giving the movie a 2.5 out of 4, which I'm not gonna lie, rating movies on a scale of 1 through 4 is absolutely insane behavior, but nonetheless they think that is a negative score on their scale, and they said that Zootopia 2 comes on strong, too strong. It seeks to bowl the audience over with noise, velocity, and an insistent tone that frankly winds up being kind of irritating. Kind of balanced out by this review that kind of has some of the same points, saying Zootopia 2 has an endearingly zippy energy and refuses to sink to the rock bottom depths of mindless children's entertainment, making it refreshingly watchable for adults. So it seems like this movie is very high energy, lots of things going on very fast to keep the audience engaged, and you're either going to think that is complete brain rot or is really going to work for you. And the consensus seems to be that for most people it did work, just not on like a masterpiece level or not better than the first film to a lot of people, but it is a good movie. This person says, while not perfect, the sequel captures the heart and humor that made the first film a standout, showing the franchise still has plenty of bounce left in its step. Bear with me on this review because we got to get through some pretty corny puns in this, but they say Zootopia 2 is ferociously funny and positively heartwarming. The Disney animation team have delivered a wildly smart and outstanding sequel that is well worth the wait. Samantha from Polygon says Zootopia 2 isn't as narratively tight as the original, but it's just as ambitious in its earnest effort to drive home its big moral message by inviting viewers into an incredibly detailed, vibrant world. The consensus seems to be that if you enjoyed the first movie, you are going to like this film because it has a lot of the same humor. The movie looks great. The world building of Zootopia is really solid in this film. But don't worry, the correct review will be coming soon because I'm watching the movie later today. So make sure to subscribe for that. And if you want to hear about all the crazy box office records this movie is about to break, click the video above my head right now. And thank you so much for watching.